Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Stef and I am the Psychic Soul Alignment Coach. If this is your first time tuning into one of my videos, thank you so much for stopping by. I really deeply appreciate you. And if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, then thank you so much for coming out and watching this video today. So here on my YouTube channel, in case this is your first time watching one of my videos, I generally upload videos 3 times a week. On Tuesdays, you can expect the weekly energy reading, which is just to give you a heads up on what to expect from the energy of that week. So if you have not yet checked out this week's weekly energy reading, which brought forward the message on how this week we're going to have our resiliency tested, then I definitely suggest that you go and watch that video after you get done watching this one. I will put it up here in the card section for you to go and watch later. But then on Thursdays and Saturdays, I also upload videos here to my channel as well. And these are generally messages or teachings that I'm asked to bring forward as per my spirit guides. So if you're interested in receiving support with your journey of spiritual awakening, spiritual ascension, spiritual entrepreneurship, healing, then I definitely suggest that you subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button, hitting the bell notification button, and changing your settings to all so that you never miss out on a video from my channel. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Today's video is all on how your limiting beliefs are holding you back from making your impact, right? So here on my channel, I have tons of free video teachings and resources basically that you could benefit from. Feel free to go and binge watch as many videos as you feel called to. But I have some playlists titled How to Create Your Impact as a Spiritual Entrepreneur. I will link that up here in the card section as well for you to go and browse through those videos. There's over 40 so far. And then I have another playlist on aligning with your soul's purpose, and I will put that up there as well for you to go and watch. But essentially, okay, those of you who are feeling called to come and watch my videos and be on my channel, who are feeling inspired to make a bigger impact in some kind of way, okay? Now, you're feeling this more than likely because your soul is asking you to step into your soul's purpose. And I've been speaking all around soul's purpose since the beginning of the year, ever since I rebranded myself as the Psychic Soul Alignment Coach, because fulfilling our soul's purpose is really important at this time. Our soul's purpose is the thing that we're here to do to help change the world. I have a video specifically that discusses the difference between your normal purpose versus your soul's purpose. I will link that up here as well for you to go and check out afterwards. But our soul's purpose is what we're here to do to help make this world a better place. You know, we're in the process of creating this new earth, of creating a world in which things are better for everyone. But in order for that to be possible, for that to actually happen, those of us who are feeling called to make a bigger impact in some way, to do work that's more meaningful, to do work that's truly going to make a difference, we need to step up and step into these soul's purposes. We need to be willing to do our part to be able to fulfill these soul's purposes, right? And so at this time, we're being asked to fulfill our soul's purpose. And this desire to fulfill this purpose is becoming stronger and stronger by the day. And no doubt, you're going to feel this increasingly as we move forward if you resist it. It's gonna keep pulling at you, keep nagging at you, to pay attention to it and to do it until you actually do it. And once you step into that, you're going to feel so much more relief. You're going to feel peace. You're going to feel alignment, even if you don't yet know how exactly it's all going to unfold or the next steps or anything like that. Just even taking those steps towards it, whatever that may be for you, is going to immediately cause a shift inside of yourself, especially if you've been resisting for far too long. When you finally step into that, you're going to feel so much better. And so at this time, right, we're being asked to fulfill these soul's purposes because our work is greatly needed in this world right now to create the new earth. So we need to allow ourselves to move forward. But what often holds a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs back from being able to create their impact and help make this world a better place is their own issues with themselves, right? We are our own greatest enemy. And that's literally like a fact. It's not necessarily the outside world that we need to be concerned with. It's really with ourselves and with what's going on internally, because that is what dictates how we live our lives and how we move through life, right? And so a lot of times your own limiting beliefs and fears will hold you back from fulfilling your purpose, your soul's purpose. These are the things that you think about or believe around maybe your capacity to help people achieve certain results, around maybe thinking that your work isn't good enough yet, or that nobody will be interested, or that you shouldn't charge for what you're giving other people, or that no one will want to pay you for what you're offering. And all of these, things that we have inside of ourselves, maybe fears around people rejecting us, not understanding us, whatever it may be. But we think these things, we feel these things, we believe these things. And because we give so much power and energy to them, they literally influence how we behave and show up in the world. So they influence our actions or our inactions, our reactions. And they can keep us paralyzed at times, or they can keep us from really being able to create the success that we want, because deep down inside of us, we are out of alignment, So even if you're taking outward action to fulfill your purpose, maybe you're sharing your gifts with people, maybe you're helping people to a certain extent, but maybe deep down inside you feel like your work doesn't matter, or your work is not worth much, or you feel wrong for getting paid. And that's what's really going on inside of you. And so even if you're out there taking some action steps, if deep inside you have this misalignment in you, then all that's going to do is keep you out of alignment with your greatest potential, and not really allow for you to receive, or not allow for you to make the level of impact that you have the potential to make with your work. And so this is why it's really important for you to be very mindful of what's going on inside of you. Now, one of the reasons why I was asked to bring forward this message today is because at this time, we are in the process of experiencing Mercury retrograde. And even if you're watching this video at a much later time, it doesn't matter. Like, you're listening to this video for a reason. There's a message here for you. But, we're going through Mercury retrograde, and what my guides wanted me to explain is that, Mercury retrograde a lot of times influences our communication, right? On some level. And this week especially, it's really influencing our communication with ourselves and what's going on within us, right? And bringing to our awareness where we have those deep limiting beliefs and fears and insecurities and things that keep us from really being able to powerfully move forward in the way in which we want to. And that we need to be really mindful of that, because these things that the energy of Mercury retrograde is only amplifying are things that we've had within us for a really long time. But the energy is just simply kind of bringing that up to the surface for us to recognize and to do something about. And we need to be willing to do something about that. And a lot of times when it comes to limiting beliefs and fears, yes, some limiting beliefs and fears can most certainly very easily be cleared out. And I say this because I teach on mindset, and I know that there are a lot of people in the personal development industry. There's lots of powerful mindset coaches who teach on how if you just change your beliefs, you change your thoughts, you change your reality. And that's certainly true to a certain extent. It really is. However, when there are these repetitive things that kind of keep coming up for us, and they keep holding us back no matter what, they don't allow for us to advance in any kind of way, then that is highly indicative that there's something deeper there that a simple shift can't just magically make disappear. There's something deeper there that needs to be looked at more closely and felt and experienced and acknowledged and transcended to finally move past it. Because what happens is that when you have these deep limiting beliefs and fears inside of yourself that just can't simply be rewritten or dismissed with some simple basic affirmation or mindset journaling, these deeper things that keep resurfacing, that keep making you feel heavy, that keep making you feel low, they keep making you feel unmotivated, they keep putting you in procrastination and resistance to moving forward. These deeper things often require deeper healing, right? And it's when you finally do that deeper healing that you're able to really release the energy behind it to allow yourself to move forward with so much more ease and grace. But what happens is when you don't do that deeper healing behind these things and you just, journal your thoughts out, or you just affirm things or whatever, what happens is that when situations and circumstances and whatever else shows up for you that would normally trigger that stuff inside of you, when they show up, they will continue to trigger these things in you again, those same patterns, those same feelings, same emotions. They'll be triggered inside of you again and again, even though you've rewritten things out, even though you've affirmed more of what you wanted or whatever. When these real life situations show up for you, they're going to keep triggering those things. And you might find yourself in this pattern of trying to force the feeling of unworthiness out, or trying to force, the thoughts of not being good enough out or whatever. And you're just like, no, I'm going to affirm this instead. I'm going to, feel this instead. And you might do it, but if you feel like it just keeps pulling you down, it keeps reeling you back in, it keeps like pulling you back in some kind of way, it's because there's deeper healing there that needs to be addressed and looked at. Okay? And until you do this deeper healing, you're going to keep being triggered in this way by these external things around you, right? So let me give you a clear example of this. Let's say that you're promoting something and that you have been working through your own limiting beliefs and fears around having success with this thing that you're promoting. And maybe you're not seeing results right away. And your ego is trying to fill you with all this fear and this doubt, telling you, oh, you're not good enough. Maybe that's why people aren't signing up. Maybe that's why people aren't interested. Maybe you still need more experience or whatever. Because the circumstance, the situation, the event is there's no people showing up maybe right now. So your ego is trying to reel you back into this old stuff again, and it's trying to make you heavy. And then all of a sudden you feel heavy. All of a sudden you feel like nothing's working. All of a sudden you feel like a failure or whatever it is. And then this affects how you show up moving forward, and it affects your results. And you might even push past that and decide, no, I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I'm going to rewrite this, And you might do that. But then even though you might want to keep a positive attitude, you might still feel this heaviness again a short while later, right? And it feels like this intense back and forth tug of war kind of thing inside of you, where you're trying to move forward, but then this stuff keeps pulling you back. The reason for that is that you have all this energy inside of you that is being triggered by the lack of signups or the lack of interest or whatever. And it keeps bringing you back to this place of these negative thoughts and these negative feelings and emotions. And you might find yourself caught up in a cycle of repeating that, feeling that, and struggling to move forward. Or you try to break free from it, but then you find yourself right back in that place again, and you try to break free from it, and then you find yourself feeling like crap again, right? So why is that? It's because you haven't done the deeper healing that you've needed to. You have to be willing to go deep within yourself to see what that's really all about, what those feelings, those thought patterns, those emotions are truly about, what they're really connected to. And to go inside of yourself and experience those things, acknowledge them, have a greater level of understanding of yourself, bringing them up to the surface. And when you can really let that energy go, then even as you're taking action with promoting this thing, for example, even if you're not seeing the results initially right away or whatever, you're not being triggered by it anymore. It's not affecting you anymore. You have greater peace inside of yourself, and it's easier for you to lean into more of your truth in that situation instead of finding yourself in this habitual pattern of like trying to fight to get out of there and then finding yourself back in there and fighting to get out of there and finding. No, you're able to be like, no, even though it's not maybe showing up yet the way I wanted to or looking the way I wanted to, like, I know it's okay. I'm going to keep moving forward. And you have this greater certainty about you. And that allows for you to truly break free from these patterns. That allows for you to truly see results in your business, in your day-to-day, because you've done the deeper healing work. And this is so super important, okay? So this is the message that I was asked to bring forward today, is that until we release that energy inside of ourselves that's connected to our deeper wounds and traumas, connected to these limiting beliefs and fears, until we do that deeper work, all we're going to end up doing a lot of times is repeating the same vicious cycles, the same patterns. Because when the external world is triggering us, it's going to keep us in this reactivity of responding in the same way that we have been, and thinking the same things that we have been, and feeling the same ways that we have been. The only way to really break free is by going within and letting whatever's going on inside really let go. And then when that energy is released, these situations don't trip us up the way that they used to anymore, because we don't hold that dense energy inside of ourselves anymore to be triggered by it, right? My guides literally told me it's like a tripwire. And I had to Google this, because I was like, I think I know what that means, but I'm just going to confirm. Sometimes they give me words that I know, but I haven't practiced seeing or reading in a long time. So I'm like, what does that mean again exactly? So tripwire is like a bomb, right? And when you move that little wire, boom, the bomb goes off. And that's kind of what it is until you do this deeper healing, you have this dense energy inside of you. And the situation, the circumstance, or whatever, right, that you're trying to move through, when that situation shows up, it's like that tripwire gets hit, and then the bomb goes off. All of a sudden you react differently. You go back to the same patterns. You go back into doubt, into fear, into worry, into anxiety, into not feeling good enough, whatever it is. You go back into that because you haven't really released that energy. But when you really release that energy, it's like you deactivate that bomb. So even if that situation comes and it trips that wire up, the bomb doesn't go off. You don't go back to those old ways. You're actually able to break free from these vicious cycles and patterns and actually move yourself forward in the direction you want to go in. And that's what it really allows for you to progress in life. It's really what is magic, So there's a time and place for mindset journaling. There's a time and place for affirmations, for these certain things. But when we struggle to really break free from these things, it's because oftentimes there's deeper things that need to be addressed inside of ourselves in order to really allow for us to move forward. And one of the things that they also wanted me to share around this as well, if I can find my notes for it, is that it's not necessarily a bad thing to have these limiting beliefs and thoughts and fears. It's not necessarily a bad thing to experience these things. It's part of the journey, it's part of the process, and sometimes it's part of what we need to go through as spiritual entrepreneurs to fulfill our purposes. We need to kind of have these limiting beliefs and fears and things and do the inner work around it in order to have greater self-awareness and wisdom and knowledge and experience that will then allow for us to make a bigger impact in the lives of those who we're meant to help. But if we don't do this deeper healing work and we just continue to do superficial healing work, right, and not really getting to the root of the matter, then we don't have that wisdom, that knowledge, that experience that allows for us to make this bigger impact. So we need to be willing to do this healing work, and we need to understand that this is what's going to allow for us to make our impact, is addressing these limiting beliefs and fears once and for all at the root level, as deep as we can go, to let go of that energy so that we stop self-sabotaging, so that we stop falling into old patterns, old ways of being, old ways of thinking, old ways of feeling, and we're actually able to show up as more of this empowered version of ourselves. There's several videos here on my channel that I've done on how you literally need to be the vibration of the version of you that has the life, the manifestations that you want. You need to be that version of yourself, which means you need to show up from that place, have those same behaviors, have that same outlook, have that same energy, have those same reactions. those same feelings. You need to be that version of yourself. But what makes it hard, quote unquote hard, to be that version of yourself is when you have all this dense energy inside of yourself from your limiting beliefs, your fears, your traumas. Because that energy is stuck in you and it keeps pulling you back into these old ways, these old habits, these old thought patterns. And the only way to break free from them is doing the deep inner work, is doing things that will help you to do the deep inner work. So you can break free, right? And so when you really do this deeper inner work, you release this energy, it's easier then to shift into more of who you really are, who you want to be, who you need to be to create that life, to create that impact, to have those manifestations. Because you're not going to be as reactive anymore. You're not going to do those same things anymore. And this is really the key to success, right? So I've noticed for myself that when I do this deeper healing, the things that used to scare me or trip me up on my path, they don't faze me anymore. And I'm able to handle them from this more empowered space, this more grounded place of being in my power and just being like, okay, cool, that's what it is. Oh, well, I lean into my truth and I know what the truth is and I just keep it moving. And I move more forward confidently, or more confidently than I was prior to doing the inner work. And the more that I practice this, the more confidently I show up and I do things, and then things work out because I've done the inner work. So I allow myself to make my impact. It's an important message if you didn't hear the siren. So this is the message for everyone today. I really hope that this has helped you in really understanding that if you really want to make a significant impact in the world, you need to really address your limiting beliefs and fears at the root cause. You really need to make the time to do this deeper inner work, also referred to as shadow work a lot of times, to really bring this stuff up and let that energy go so that you can allow yourself to more easily shift into the version of yourself that you need to be the powerful leader that you are, to create the success that you desire, right? And this is what it is. And if you're interested in being able to do this inner work and becoming this version of yourself, and you'd like support with that, I invite you to come and join me in my Soul Aligned Impact program. It's my powerful 12-week program where I really support you in understanding what it takes to be a powerful spiritual leader, powerful spiritual entrepreneur, and how to do this deeper inner work so that you don't continue to fall back into these old patterns and things. And then you allow yourself to succeed. I will put up testimonials here in the card section for you to check out. If you have any questions, reach out to me via my links in the description of this video. I have links to my social media accounts, so go and check those out. They'll be down below. And other than that, thank you so much for your time. Give this video a thumbs up, a like if this resonated with you. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Drop me a comment letting me know how this message resonated with you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.